The study found, and here's a series of bullet points. One, roughly 1/4 of non-citizens in the U.S. were, quote, likely registered to vote. Now, 1/4, I know I may have a Bernie Sanders supporter tuned in here this morning. 1/4 is 1/4. And an easy way, I'm kidding, I'm having some fun here. Take it easy. But you know math isn't the strong suit of the Democratic Socialists. 1/4 means one, and then there's like a dash, 1/4. You might know like a quarter of a cup. If you bake things, you'll see that there's a quarter of a cup. If you watch sports, you'll find that games are often divided into 4 quarters. 4 quarters makes a whole. 1/4, 1/4 is synonymous, which is also 25%. So back in 2008, roughly 25% of non-citizens were likely registered to vote. 6.4%, the study found, of non-citizens actually voted. 6.4% of non-citizens actually voted. Here's where it gets really interesting. Guess how many of them reported voting for Barack Obama? Oz, do you know how many non-citizens voted for Obama? Do you think? A bunch is what her answer was. Oz, that's taking a cop out. 81.8%. I mean, this is all coincidental. I mean, it's just a coincidence that folks are illegally voting as non-citizens. That's just a coincidence. It's just a coincidence that this administration also loves open borders. These things are not related at all. And it's also a coincidence that the vast, vast, vast majority of people who are in this country illegally are voting for Barack Obama. Those are all coincidences. I don't know what there is to see here. It's just a series of things that are unrelated to each other. These are just tidbits of information I'm sharing with you. Nothing to see here. The last bullet point says illegal votes cast by non-citizens, quote, likely changed important election outcomes in favor of Democrats, including electoral college votes, meaning how states actually, you want to talk about stealing an election, my friends? Bingo, bango. Right here, you got it. Electoral college votes were likely changed in 2008, as were congressional elections. Here, this says a pivotal U.S. Senate race was likely changed that enabled Democrats to pass Obamacare. So you take this to its conclusion. Because of lax voter laws in this country, because of open borders, because of a complicit Democrat Party in this conspiracy. I guess you could call it a conspiracy. Maybe it's just an unspoken agreement, a wink and a nod. An open border, which lets millions of people in here, which allows for some of these people, up to 1/4 of them, and again, Bernie Sanders supporters, that's 25%. That's 1 out of 4. 1 out of 4 of them are apparently, according to research, likely to have registered to vote illegally. They vote in terms of over 4 out of 5 voted for Barack Obama. Over 4 out of 5, 81.8%. And because of their votes, they could have changed a Senate race, which then made a Democrat go to Washington, D.C. as a senator, which tipped the balance of power in D.C. back in those days to the point, if you remember, they had a filibuster-proof majority, and there was a whole bunch of stuff that happened. I don't want to get into that. Scott Brown, everything else, just a mess that happened in D.C. But they had a filibuster-proof majority, which is ultimately what led to the passage of Obamacare. So Obamacare in this country, according to science, according to research, according to facts, according to these fact checkers, Obamacare is the law of the land. It's likely. I'm going to use the word likely because that's what it says here. It's likely the law of the land because people who are not citizens are voting in our elections. That's what science has said, my friends.